As I arrived at the address provided in the email receipt, the urge to turn back to my hotel intensified, anxiety creeping in. What was I getting myself into today? Once I sent a text to the number I'd received, there would be no going back, and my perspective would shift forever. I had been corresponding with Deb, the woman I was about to contact. My desire was to experience what it felt like to dress up and explore the city as a woman. Deb, an expert in makeovers, assured me, "Elizabeth, my chosen name, you'll be amazed at what we can create." She described her studio as a treasure trove filled with wigs, outfits, body-modifying forms, and everything a cross-dressing man might need to convincingly embrace femininity. As I pressed send on my phone, a wave of breathlessness washed over me. Deb greeted me at her front door with a warm smile, saying, "Hello, Elizabeth. It's so wonderful to finally meet you." We settled into her living room to discuss my goals for the day. I shared my desire to see if I could pass as a woman and expressed excitement about having long acrylic nails for at least a day. We also touched on the idea of exploring BDSM play, which intrigued me despite my lack of experience. After finalizing our plans, we made our way downstairs to begin the transformation into Miss Elizabeth, or Beth. Deb started by showing me around her studio and dungeon play area. I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as I gazed at the array of wigs in every imaginable color and style, alongside shoes from sleek pumps to towering 6-inch thigh highs, dresses, blouses, jewelry, and, most notably, a spanking bench. "All right, Miss Elizabeth," Deb announced. "Let's get started. Our nail salon appointment has been moved up by half an hour." Deb instructed me to remove my male clothing and began the transformation by helping me adjust my gaff, which doubled as a G-string. As I adjusted to my new smoothness, Deb measured my key areas to determine my proper sizes. Once I slipped on my first pair of nylons, she positioned my hip and butt pads, and I was amazed at how my figure began to change. Having already waxed my chest before the appointment, I received compliments from Deb as she placed my new size D breasts snugly into my bra against my now smooth chest. Next came the corset, which would shape my figure into a more hourglass silhouette. Deb tightened the corset gradually, pulling the laces taut each time I took a breath. "Beth, the tighter you can manage, the more flattering your shape will look," she explained. We continued until it began to affect my breathing slightly, and then we paused. The corset's tightness, combined with the weight of my breasts, hips, and pads, gave me a glimpse of how differently I would need to walk, sit, and move in girl mode. With my posture improved by the corset, we began trying on dresses and shoes. I found myself unable to resist touching my new curves, reveling in the smoothness that the gaff provided. Deb picked out a dress that concealed my still hairy arms and most of my chest. Walking in heels above 2 inches was definitely going to take some practice. Next, I settled into the makeup chair under bright lights that highlighted my features. Deb placed a wig cap over my short hair and began her transformation. "Look up, look down, blot your lips, hold still for the eyeliner," she directed, moving swiftly as she applied makeup. The process continued until she excitedly announced, "It's hair time." Even before the wig was attached, I felt different, tight from the corset, heavy from my new breasts, and augmented in my hips and backside. My eyes felt weighted from the false lashes and makeup, while my lips were smooth from the bright red lipstick Deb had carefully applied. Deb instructed me to close my eyes and lower my head as she selected a wig. When I finally opened my eyes, the sheet was lifted from the mirror, revealing Elizabeth in all her blonde glory. I felt exhilarated, almost electric with my transformation. Deb's voice broke through my excitement. "Okay, sweetheart, there will be plenty of mirror time later, but we need to add your jewelry and handbag quickly. We can't be late for our nail appointments." The reality of leaving her basement studio as Miss Elizabeth began to sink in, and I couldn't help but feel a mix of thrill and nervousness about stepping into the real world. Deb swiftly fastened dangling earrings onto my ears, adorned my left ring finger with a delicate feminine ring, and placed a necklace with a pendant that nestled between my new breasts. She handed me a purse for my essentials, and we began to walk up the stairs to exit. I paused at the doorway, taking in the transformation, as Deb encouraged me. "You look amazing, and this is going to be such a fun girl time." Feeling emboldened by her words, I moved carefully in my 2-inch heels toward her car, unable to tear my eyes away from the reflection in the makeup mirror during the drive to the nail salon. Deb was scheduled for a shellac manicure, while I was excited for my appointment for a full set of acrylic nails. I did dwell on how I'd eventually remove them, but my eagerness to experience them outweighed my worries. As Deb pulled into the parking lot of Eclipse Nail Salon, I realized we were almost there. I secretly hoped she might suggest press-on nails as a fallback, but instead, she exclaimed, "Well, here we go. Only 2 minutes to spare before we're late." I quickly checked my reflection one last time, adjusted my hair, and made sure my new breasts were properly aligned before stepping out of the car, ready to embrace this new adventure as Miss Elizabeth. As I walked beside Deb, we looked like two girlfriends out for a day on the town. She held the door for me as we entered the salon, filled with the familiar scent of acrylic nails. The receptionist greeted us, prompting us to choose a color. Deb looked at me and confidently said, "I'll be choosing your color, shape, and length today, so enjoy." We were seated in the front row of nail stations, and I settled into the one along the wall, feeling the curious glances from about 15 ladies around us. No one seemed to bat an eye as we got comfortable. The nail technician, with her broken English, asked, "Who is getting the full set?" Deb quickly pointed to me and declared, "She is." For a moment, I was taken aback, as I didn't quite recognize she as me, but then it hit me. Deb was seeing and referring to me as female for the day. I was instructed to move to a seat on the main aisle in the front row, leaving behind the wall that had offered me some comfort. Trying to maintain grace, I adjusted my dress beneath me while navigating my heels to avoid a stumble. Christina, my nail tech, guided me step by step, starting with a playful chastisement about my habit of biting my nails. I realized this was all part of the transformation, not just in appearance, but in embracing the experience fully. Christina began to treat each of my fingers as a unique piece of art. She meticulously buffed my nails, glued on the white tips, and applied various nail solutions. The moment of decision came when Christina asked, "How long?" Deb started to speak, intending to have her cut the long tips down, but I piped up, "Can we keep them this long?" Referring to the full 2 inches, Deb laughed, saying, "Why not? Let's see how you do." Christina hesitated, but after my insistence, she relented, saying, "Your nails." Deb then instructed Christina to create a French manicure style, which she executed with exquisite detail. After curing each hand under the UV light, I was told to wash my hands at the sink on the other side of the salon. A rush of horror washed over me at the thought of walking across the room, but Deb reassured me, "You'll be okay." Standing tall with my newly corrected posture, I carefully made my way to the sink, trying to embody as much femininity as possible as I walked past the row of women getting their pedicures. I showed off my long nails with each wave of my hand, returning to my seat without a hitch. I had done it. No fainting or tripping. After a few minutes of fumbling to pay with cash from my small purse, which was quite the challenge with my 2-inch nails, we headed out for drinks and dinner. I was hoping for a quiet table in the back, but Deb had other plans and opted for the bar rail, wanting me to have the most exposure as Elizabeth. I felt confident with my long blonde hair, dazzling long eyelashes, perfectly applied makeup, and an hourglass figure complemented by my striking French manicured nails. As we settled in, the male bartender greeted us with, "Welcome to the Palladium, ladies. Can I get a few menus?" Hearing him refer to me as a lady sent a jolt of excitement through me. Deb conveniently excused herself to the ladies' room, leaving me to interact with the bartender. I mustered my best feminine voice to engage in conversation, and it felt exhilarating. We enjoyed a wonderful dinner, filled with laughter and good food. Afterward, we departed for Deb's studio, playfully dubbed her dungeon, ready for some exciting playtime ahead. We chatted excitedly about the fun evening we had together, with Deb still marveling at my extremely long nails. I loved the satisfying sound of my acrylic nails clicking against each other, and Deb picked up on that part of my enjoyment. Upon arriving at her place, Deb gave me the option to opt out of our introduction to BDSM, but I was determined to continue after everything I had experienced. Deb's demeanor shifted, becoming more directive, almost in a dominatrix style. She instructed me to put on the 6-inch black heels and make my way to the playroom. I straddled the spanking bench I had seen earlier, laying face down across its surface. The anticipation heightened as Deb shackled my wrists and ankles, connecting them with a chain. As I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, dressed as Beth, bound in leather and chains, a wave of euphoria washed over me. This experience, this transformation, was everything I had hoped for and more. My long blonde hair partially obscured my view, but I delighted in clicking my nails together, still reveling in the sensation on my fingertips. Deb noticed my enjoyment with the bench and pulled the chains taut, lifting me slightly off the surface. "It's time for the cross," she said in a firm tone. I was then shackled to a vertical cross shaped like an X. Deb picked up a paddle and introduced me to light impact play. The thrill surged within me, especially as the gaff kept everything neatly in place. As the session continued, the excitement intensified, building with each playful strike. Eventually, my session was coming to an end. Deb helped me transition back to boy mode. Though I felt a tinge of sadness at leaving Beth behind, I knew I would return for more adventures. I hugged Deb tightly, expressing my gratitude for everything she had shared with me. As I got back into my car to head to the hotel, I glanced at my hands on the steering wheel, noticing Beth's stunning fingernails wrapped around it. The sound echoed in my mind, sealing the thrilling memories of the evening.